Namaskar, that distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, fellow citizens of this great nation, and above all, the bright minds of Bharat's tomorrow who have gathered here today. I speak to you not merely as a scientist or policymaker, but as a devoted son of this soil. And today, my heart swells with pride and purpose as I offer my reflections on one of the most outstanding works I have come across in recent times, Envisioning India by Professor Sanjay Deshmukh. This is not just a book, it is a manifesto, a magnum opus, a meticulously architected roadmap for a Viksit Bharat, our collective dream for a developed, empowered, inclusive, and leading India realized within the centenary of our independence. As I turned each page of this chronicle, I felt a resonance deep within. It was almost as if Professor Deshmukh had peered into the recesses of my own life's journey, into the laboratories where I toiled, into the policy rooms where I envisioned, into the podiums where I spoke of a new India, and then echoed it all with purpose and scientific precision. Ladies and gentlemen, I have had the privilege of contributing to India's scientific and innovation ecosystem for over 5 decades. Whether it was championing Gandhian engineering, more from less for more people, or pushing for inclusive innovation that touches the lives of the last Indian standing in the queue, my life's work has centered around one enduring question, and it is here that Envisioning India becomes not just a book, but a practical guide, a symphony where equity and efficiency, growth and grassroots, tradition and technology all dance together on the pages in perfect harmony. Professor Deshmukh, with the mind of a scholar and with commitment, weaves 52 chapters across 7 transformational sections. He does not merely diagnose India's ailments, he prescribes, prognosticates, and proposes possible paths. Let me share with you why I believe this chronicle deserves not just national celebration, but global recognition, why I say without exaggeration that it is worthy of a greater recognition in all the sections of society, nationally as well as universally. In 2008, I wrote Reinventing India, reflecting on how innovation, policy reform, and people's participation could redefine our development model. Today, Professor Deshmukh has extended this logic and is rescripting India. He articulates the science of nation building with empirical depth, and he brings a rare lens of systems thinking, just as we scientists do when we design experiments that connect variables across space and time. His focus on human capital, inclusive governance, environmental stewardship, grassroots empowerment, and digital infrastructure, these are not disjointed ideas. They are interdependent levers of transformation, much like how molecules interact to form matter with new properties. And here is what touched me most. His chapters echo the very themes that shaped my life's work: innovation for inclusion, sustainability with equity, and knowledge-driven development. In a time when the world grapples with fragmentation, India must rise as a force for cohesion, and Professor Deshmukh rightly puts resilience at the heart of our transformation, not just economic resilience, but social, institutional, ecological, and emotional resilience. Just like polymers strengthen with the right molecular architecture, India too will strengthen when we align its structural frameworks, education, healthcare, governance, with adaptive design and ethical foundations. Professor Deshmukh shows us how democracy must not be a ritual of voting, but a culture of continuous civic participation, how economic growth must not be a race to the top, but a rising tide that lifts every boat, how sustainability must not be a checkbox, but a compass for a developed nation. This is resilience redefined, and it is not theoretical. It is rooted in India's soil, its struggles, its potential. Throughout my career, from chairing innovation councils to shaping science policy, I have emphasized that India's truest wealth lies not beneath its earth, but between the ears of its people. And Professor Deshmukh recognizes this too. He does not stop at education for all. He calls for education for excellence, for curiosity-led, creativity-fueled, and compassion-centered learning ecosystems. He understands that without transforming our education and skill development pipelines, we cannot populate our industries, our labs, or even our governance structures with minds ready for the future. What touched me most was his section on empowering youth, not just as beneficiaries of policy, but as partners in policy making. This echoes what I have always said. India's youth are not just the future of India, they are the architects of its present. Dear friends, I have always believed that India is not an idea that was born, it is a civilization that continues to become. Professor Deshmukh captures this essence with reverence and relevance. His reflections on social justice, women's empowerment, cultural diversity, and indigenous rights are not mere idealism, they are structured strategies for building a society that celebrates its differences without compromising its unity. Just as I saw in my scientific journey where the most complex systems are the most robust ones, India's diversity is not its challenge, it is its strength, its superpower. The final section of the book, Envisioning India, is where Professor Deshmukh lifts our gaze to the horizon of 2047. He shows us a digital India, a green India, an entrepreneurial India, a compassionate India. His call for Antyodaya, the rise of the last person, is a spiritual echo of Gandhi, Ambedkar, and Abdul Kalam. As I read his vision, I thought of how India is not rising for itself, it is rising to serve the world. With our spiritual heritage, scientific minds, and scalable solutions, India is poised to lead not by dominion but by Dham. In that sense, this is not just a roadmap for India, but a civilizational model of growth with grace, speed with soul, and power with purpose. So today as I speak to you, honored and humbled, I offer not just praise but a call. Let every student read this book as a mission statement. Let every policymaker treat it as a possible blueprint. Let every entrepreneur use it as a compass. Let every teacher bring it into the classroom. Let every citizen hold it close as a promise of what India can become. In 2047, when the world will look back and ask how India became a beacon of progress and peace, I am convinced this chronicle will be cited with recognition. To Professor Sanjay Deshmukh, I deeply appreciate not only your scholarship but your vision. To your synthesis of intellect and empathy, you have not just envisioned India, you have reawakened it. As I reflect on your work, I am reminded of the Upanishadic wisdom, Uttishthat Jagrat Prapti Varan Nibodat. Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached. Friends, the goal is Viksit Bharat. The means is this vision. The time is now. Let us rise. Let us be this. Let us envision and then realize the India that will not only stand tall in 2047, but will also help the world stand together. Jai Hind. Jai Viksit Bharat.